So today, I'm going to cartoon some of the images that you guys have sent me and talk about why I don't give a about style. I asked some of you guys to post your beautiful faces under the hashtag DrawMeKesh so that I can cartoon them, and some of you did. Then I want to choose a couple and draw it. Before that, I'm sort of running a cartooning people challenge where I'm giving away an iPad Air and an Apple Pencil for people who cartoon things. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. We'll save that thing for later. So, why I don't give a damn about style. First, I'm going to start off with the stylization, and the first kid I've chosen is this one. This really nice, cute little kid. Got this really nice smirky smile, right? You gotta look for that vibe in your emotions. No, not vibe in your emotions, no, vibe and emotions in your reference images. I have a little base sketchy thumbnail thingy right here. Now, a lot of this doesn't make sense, but this sort of evolves into a little cartoony thing. So one of the things that I do these days is not give a damn about style, because at the end of the day, I've sort of understood what style is. Style is just nothing but a bunch of decisions you take in your artworks. It's just decisions. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you draw this? How do you draw that? How do you color this? How do you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Just seems like it's a bunch of techniques put together. It's like Sam does art style, the Kim Jong-gi style, the Disney style, the anime style, this style, that style. It is boiled down to techniques, but I don't think that's what style is. For me, the way I approach thing is style is all about principles. I've drawn a little basic shape sketch, or I'd like to call this a shape sketch. And what does a shape sketch mean? It's me playing with a bunch of shapes to a point where, you know, it's like I'm just pushing, I'm pulling, I'm thinking about how can I think of the emotion and the vibe that I want to sort of communicate. Because you look at this kid, you look at the reference image, it gives off a more like a friendliness and bubbliness and cuteness, right? And I feel the kind of shapes that I'm using right now sort of rounder, more rounded and more blobby shapes. It gives more of that friendly, unique, kid-friendly vibe. Principles is not techniques. It's not like I'm going to use a shape language, right? It's not that. Rather, principle is how you think. Like, for example, one of the principles I use is 20% of the things in your drawing gives 80% of the results. So therefore, focus on the 20%. It can be 20% of the shapes, 20% of the colors, 20% of the emotion, 20% of the vibe. That's a way of thinking. And you can apply that to any step of the drawing process. The sketching, the coloring, the inking, the way you painted, the way you shaded, the way you lighted, everything. That is one principle that I use. I feel like a mad scientist right now. So, got like sort of like a rough sketch in. Now, a lot of my drawing process is more like do a lot of work at the forefront, meaning lay the foundations well, get the sketching part right, get it good, play with things, go with the flow. Because after that is where you sort of lock things in, but the sketch needs to be playful. Now, I have a feeling, gotta spice things up with this drawing. What if put like a nice little character in the background and make it fun? So I'm thinking, what if the thing on the back is like a nice little dragon thing and sort of, it's like, yeah. You look at his face, it's nice. Man, but man, you mess with this kid, he's gonna unleash his dragon and he's gonna come and eat you. He's gonna breathe fire down your freaking house and just destroy your family. So that's one of the other principles. Fun story, right? Like, man, just gotta have fun with this thing. Like, what else is the point, right? You make art because you see some sort of a story through that art, and yeah, that's not coming. Now the thing is, right, most of the time it doesn't come for me. It just sucks for me. But right now it's coming. I was like, hey, why not use it well? That's what I'm doing. So how about I go ahead and just, you know, ink this little thing and see where this leads, right? First, inking, right? Got the sketch down. Right, now ink it. Now for most of the sketching process, I was just using my 6B pencil. Now what I want to do is for the inking, I'm going to use my dry ink brush, the signature drying brush that I often use. Let's see how that goes. Little tip about clothing, right? Like when it comes to clothes, there's always a point of tension where things are pulling, and at the same time, clothes is nothing but just like a wave. You know, it's like this is a cloth, and when it pulls, it forms a wave. See, a wave. And your clothes is nothing but a bunch of waves put together. Right now I'm wearing black, I don't think you can see this, but you know, everything is just a wave. And that wave always, by the way, leads to a point of tension, point where it's being pulled, point where it's being pushed. I just simplify most of the lessons I learn into like something that is like another version of 80-20, meaning I just keep the very crucial things in mind and I just leave the rest out. Hopefully I'm not inking on the same layer, but yeah, just gotta check that. You know, that sudden fear that just comes to you like, holy crap, did I create a new layer before I started inking? By the way, vary your line weight, folks. Vary your line weight. If you want a tutorial on line weights and inking, got one down below on my channel, so go check that out. Sometimes for the insides of the face, I just keep the lines very, very thin. I was like wondering, man, why doesn't it look like the kid at all? And then I was like, hey, buddy, I've got the freaking glasses. So yeah, done with the inks for the kids. Sort of the dragon is also done in the back. And now it's time for me to go ahead and nicely apply some colors. Now the way I think about this is this. Sort of want to go for something warmer on the forefront and cooler on the background. And yeah, sort of go with that. Let's quickly fill up the colors. I'm thinking more like turquoise green dragon. See? Oh, it looks good. Oh, it looks very nice. I'm like thinking like some sort of like a nice pink, light pink-ish thing for the fins right here. The eyes of the dragon, I'm telling you, it's gotta be like a nice yellow that is just standing out. It's good. So I'm just gonna quickly fill up the rest of the colors and sort of then meet you when I'm at the shadows area. So I'll see you there. The basic colors are done, and now I've sort of gone for, like I told you, right, like a complementary color scheme. Like why? Like again, principles or methods using complementary colors, sort of like colors on the two and opposite ends of the color wheel, or whatever you want to call it. The idea of using complementary color scheme, that's one of the color harmonies that we come across, right, in color theory. But why here? The idea is to not make the dragon feel exactly like the boy. The idea is to separate the dragon, make it like the opposite of the boy, but yet they are one and the same. Sort of like that emotion, that vibe, right? Sort of going for those things. Also looks cool. That's another thing. But that idea, or trying to communicate that emotion through this technique, is what I'm trying to do. So principle, which is opposites, the emotion that we're trying to convey, the story that we're trying to do. The method that is being used there is complementary color scheme. Right there. See, it's like principles is the way you think. Method is how you sort of apply that principle. And the person who learns the principle over the methods always wins. Principles, guys, principles. He's like the dragon hunter kid. Cool dragon hunter kid. You can even make a freaking mini movie out of it, or comic.
The Dragon Kid.
Light is coming from this side, so then that means the shadow of glasses should also be shown. I'm sort of going for the shell shaded way of sort of doing this, inspired by the principle of keeping it simple. Putting the shadows on the dragon, just using multiple versions of like purples and blues sort of to add the shadows on multiply. I don't know. So why do I use this thing? I kind of like the vibe it gives. The tone of the shadow sort of gives the vibe. If you just go out in broad daylight when the sky is blue, it gives out that vibe. Add the dragon shadows, boy. Add the dragon shadows. For that, I want to use more like pinkish. See, if I just look at the shadow, this is the color. Sort of like a very nice light purple. Actually, you know, I want the dragon to be more brighter, not filled with shadows. And make the kid dark, actually. Nah, I kind of like this vibe thing. I'm just gonna add some effects on top of this, right? Little minuscule effects, and we'll be done with this piece. That is it for the first piece. Kind of like this thing. Sort of, you know, let's continue on with the next one. Next person we have here, Dana. Dana, by the way, is a friend, and she follows, she comments a lot. It's like, hey, hi Dana, how are you doing? Nice hat, by the way. Killing penguins, are we? So I'm like thinking, how can I draw Dana differently? How can I do it in a way that I've not done before? How about I paint? That's a way that I've not done before. I'll see. How can I use shapes completely differently? How can I use this drawing as inspiration and try something? So let me come up with a sketch, actually. So I have a quick little sketch right here, and I kind of like it. It's cute, it's different. The idea is like, now how can I do this even more differently? Let's think, because that's the principle. Let's go with Dana's color scheme that we have here. Dana, is that Decathlon right there in the background? Huh? Your sports cap? Good. Good job. So the story is this cute little character, this virus, is caught Dana, and it's sitting on top of her head all the freaking time. Because Dana is quite the anti-virus girl, hence the mask. And virus caught on, a virus from an unknown origin. Sort of again going for that complimentary vibe, because Dana herself went for that thing unknowingly. Look at that cool thing on her head, cool hat on her head, while at the same time wearing a warm piece of clothing. I don't think Dana knew it when she was actually picking her clothes that morning, when she was going shopping to Decathlon, where she caught the virus. But unfortunately or fortunately, abided by the laws of choosing right colors that are natural, that are inborn, that is inbred. I don't know what the right word, it's inside you, and she's gone for the right colors. How cool is that? Let's go ahead and add some shadows, shadow color. I wish I could have chosen a much nicer blue, but fine. Usually this is not how I work. I don't work like this. I gotta have all my layers separate, all my things separate. But today we're breaking the rules, aren't we? Are we not, couple? Supposed to say yes right now.
Yeah, yes.
See? Like doing something that you've not done before. Right? Seems like a lot of figuring out is there. Not technically painting right now. Still like cell shading, but a bit of painting. But all of this comes from that question, which is, how can I do this differently? When I'm trying this, I'm sort of learning something new. It's like, hey, you know what, remove the lines in areas where the light hits, and that automatically gives a much different vibe to the painting. Just keep the lines under the areas where the shadow hits, because it makes more sense. And that all of a sudden just gives a whole new vibe to this. So that is a piece. Sort of using that principle of thinking differently and trying a bunch of random things and sort of going with the flow, see where things takes. How I think about doing art over the techniques and methods that I use. Obviously the techniques and principles sometimes sort of overlay each other, but I don't know. It's like you don't have to give too much thought to style, because if you start adopting principles, style is a byproduct. That's what I feel, that's what I think at least, and that's what this video is all about. So yeah. Also, I'm holding a cartooning people challenge, where you sort of take someone from real life or photograph, turn them into cartoon, send it to me, and I'll pick one winner and give them an iPad Air and an Apple Pencil, because I'm on a mission to give 100 iPad Airs and Apple Pencils away, and I've given 5. There's one more to that list. So links to that challenge down below. You can register, and all the details are over on the website, so go check it out. It's free and international as well. And the last date of sending your artwork is November 30th of 2022, so watch out for that. That is with this video, my lovely people. See you. I'm gonna turn this into a Disney song. I'm just gonna stop right now. Ow, my back.